Now, welcome to Club 400 Radio Live. Unbelievable. Thanks for coming out. We got a special guest tonight. I am so happy to have him out. He is a part of the 2016 World Series champions. Please, let's give it up for Carl Edwards Jr. William, what do you think?
I'm psyched, except I'm sitting on a Bears stool and it makes me sick to my stomach.
Carl, what's your favorite football team pro-wise?
I'm a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. But my first team is the Carolina Panthers.
Well, let's start there and talk about you grew up in South Carolina. Tell us a little bit about what it was like growing up in South Carolina.
Well, South Carolina is God's country, I tell everybody. But I mean, it's a small state, which I love. My hometown, fun fact is, the year I was drafted, the pick that I was, it was one more than how many people I had in my population. So when I was picked, I was literally picked, and if you put up the guys that was drafted that year and then you put up my population of my state, the population of my hometown, my draft, my number put us over 1.
Wow. That is amazing. I'm going to bring it back. Let's go back to, what we all, Carl, from this point on, you're always going to be legendary. You know that. You brought the World Series back to Chicago.
Yes!
And I always want to know, this is what I always thought. So I was actually at the game out in Cleveland, and as you know, it was a roller coaster. And when they brought you into the 10th inning, after the rain delay, what the hell were you thinking?
Okay, so it's funny. The whole situation was we had Cal Hendry pitching in the gym, and he had gotten in a little trouble, and I actually got up in the second or third inning. So I get up and get out the inning. I'm cool, and in the back of my head, I'm saying to myself, I'm like, all right, well, I think I just had my World Series experience. Just to warm up with the cameras on me for everybody back home to be like, oh, CJ's warming up. I honestly thought that was it. I was like, oh, all right, cool, I'm fine. I don't have to worry about going in. Well, we ended up scoring a lot of runs, and then, the big blow, and I'm like, oh, okay. So it's funny because as soon as that happened, they didn't call down. They called down and it was like, hey, just get CJ up and throwing. All right, that's cool, that's fine. And then we get out the inning, and before I can get down the side, I was trying to rush because I didn't want them to say anything else to me. And they goes, hey, CJ's going in the 10th inning. And I walk in, I go, Lord, please let's go 2 or more runs. So, we came back out, we ended up scoring, taking the lead, and then got 3 outs. And really the funniest thing I remember the most is I remember throwing the last pitch and looking in the camera and saying to myself, don't mess this up.
It's 108 years on your shoulders. You're brought in at the top of the 10th.
And and I went out there, and I was thinking, I remember early in the year I was facing the Reds, and it was Votto and Jay Bruce and all those guys, and my leg was shaking. So in the back of my head, I'm like, dude, I go out there and say, dude, my leg's gonna be shaking, gotta take deep breaths. I got it as nothing. So I ran out and I hear the crowd, I hear everything. Throw the last pitch, count down, say my thing. Look up for my guy Will Beanball that if you guys don't know, this is my best friend in high school. He passed away when I was in high school. I was actually going to school to play with him because he was my catcher. And so I do that, but it was funny because I hear everybody, and as soon as my leg goes up, and the ball goes out my hand. It was like this. It was quiet. Strike one, and then crowd erupts. That's okay. That's one. And then it just kept repeating, and it was just like the same thing. It was like, leg go up. Strike two. Jesus, somebody yell, say something. It's like, but then I just locked in. It's like I had tunnel vision. I just had tunnel vision, and I ended up getting that guy out, and then getting the next guy out, and I ended up coming out the game. But the whole time I was just thinking to myself, was like, I remember on Twitter they posted this thing. It was like, Bryant, myself, Soler, Russell, Baez, Schwarber, and it was like the new kids on the block. And at the time, like, I mean, we had, veteran guys like Sorbers and all those guys. I didn't look down on them. I actually loved those guys. I love the whole team still today because they actually helped me. They gave me the confidence. Like, I remember going out there and, I look around, like, this is our time. And my thing was, just be competitive, go right after guys and let my defense work because we had a great defense. And so, I go out there, we do this, and at the same time, I was just thinking, like, man, we win this, like, it takes away so much of the other guys that, you look forward to coming up. It was like, before us, it was like, oh, this guy's coming up, we got a chance. This guy's coming up, we got a chance. And my thing was, I didn't want us as a team to be in that category of snap. We had him come up, we had it, okay, let's wait on the next wave. And so when we actually got there, it was, it was a dream come true because, like I tell everybody, it was like, a lot of us played this game since we was knee-high to a grasshopper. And so, for us to actually get that done, it really, really, like, took a lot off of us. And then, the next year, we end up, going back to next year. We didn't win it, and now we're back here this year. But I really think my experience came in 2015 when we got swept by the Mets, and I walked into the locker room, and I just see everybody talking about, you got a mosquito on you.
Mom, good job. Mom. Way to look out for your mom.
In 15, I just remember, like, the crazy thing is, like, during that game, I wasn't, in 2015, I wasn't on the roster, but I was there, and I remember how cold it was in New York. So I'm like, dang, I want my guys to hit. So I would look at the lineup. Instead of me being out there, I was supporting them no matter what, but instead of me being out there watching the game, I remember being down there with a blow dryer in my hands with like Rizzo's and Bryant's and Fowler and all those gloves, batting gloves. And I had the blow dryer on them I was burning them probably. It was smoking. And they was like, I'm like, bro, don't worry about it. Just know when you go out here, this wind is gonna cut in, it'll help you out. And so I was just trying my best. Like, I couldn't pitch, I couldn't do nothing but cheer them on. So I'm like, I might as well just take their batting gloves and just hold a blow dryer on them forever. And so when they come in, they're like, hey, what's your gloves? I was like, hey, look, guys, all your batting gloves and bats and stuff will be down here in this right here with me. And I didn't have it all lined up just because I wanted us to hit so bad, but I knew it was so cold. And that was me. And like I said, after that game, just seeing their faces, like like they was. I mean, we made a run. We ended up winning the wild card, beating the Cardinals, and we ended up losing. But that day, after that day, I told myself, I was like, man, get there this year. So we're going to win it all. And boom, 16 happened, we won it all. And it took so much off of not just myself and everybody, like the whole state of Chicago. Yeah. And that's what really, that's why, like, if I don't have a good game or something, that's why I'm always, like, I'm heated. If I do something, I'm always heated. I'm always mad. I'm gonna be honest. I'm always mad no matter what. So don't ever think I might give it up and be like, oh, he's fine. Nah, I'm mad. Like I'm mad to the point where like I might not calm down until about 3 o'clock in the morning. Then I'll get to the field tomorrow and be like, okay, so all right, let me do this again.
That's a great thing about baseball. There's always a game the next day, you know?
Yeah.
I always wanted to ask you too. I mean, do you think it was destiny and fate that you got traded to the Cubs and you got drafted by what was it, Rangers or what?
The Rangers in the
Rangers,
49th round.
And when you got traded to the Cubs, you weren't very happy about it because you grew up in the Rangers system, and then your whole story behind you is remarkable. And then you get traded to the Cubs. Now every morning when you wake up, you got a World Series ring in your in your house. And
Funny story. When they told me, I remember that day like it was yesterday. I had my whole family come to Hickory, North Carolina, because I was playing the Crawdad X. And everybody was like, oh man. I was like, because I asked them, I was like, am I getting traded? They was like, don't worry about it. You got a game to worry about. I said, all right, whatever. I said, dude, I feel like I'm getting traded. I kept saying, so I called my agent. My agent's like, oh, I haven't heard nothing yet. But I think he already heard something. He just didn't want to tell me. So my whole family was coming up, and I remember I was playing Washers. You ever play that game? Washers? You ever know cornhole?
Yeah.
So Washer is like a cube
Smaller.
with a cylinder in the middle. So me and my pitching coach was playing that before. I don't even know why, but I played that before I pitch every day for some reason. He used to ask me why. So I don't know. I think it locks me in and try to throw it in the middle. So, but and then go out there and there's like, hey, you been scratched. And I'm just sitting there like, I'm about to be traded. I feel it. So I'm sitting in the locker room, literally got throws one pitch. The manager comes down, goes into the bathroom. The first time he ever had his phone in the dugout by far. Never had his phone on him. But that day he had it, and he comes up to me, pat me on the back. Hey, let's talk. So during the game, I'm walking on the field. He goes, hey, you just got traded to the Cubs. And I look at him and I go, the Cubs. And I was just like, man, I'm just thinking to myself, like, the Rangers have been there. The year I was drafted 2011, 10 and 11, they got to the World Series, didn't win it. And I'm like, well, you know what? I got drafted by them. I'm like, oh, perfect. We're going to get there, we'll win it. Then I get traded, and I'm just thinking to myself, I got traded to the Cubs. I don't know anybody over here. So I goes over to Daytona Beach, Florida, high A, and I walk into the locker room. It was totally different than when I walked in here. Because I walked in here, everybody was like, oh, hey. When I walked in there, it was crickets. It was just like silent. I walked in my locker, go meet the manager. Good thing about it, I had Storm Davis that was with the Rangers. And I'm just sitting there like, Storm, what? Why did I get traded? It's like, I'll tell you about it after your first outing. All right, cool. So my first outing, I did really good. I went struck out the first 8 guys or whatever. And all of a sudden, they go, yeah, you'll be shut down for the year. I said, why am I being shut down? He goes, your innings. I said, dude, what if we go to the playoffs? He's like, you can't pitch. And then all of a sudden, I was able to pitch. And it's funny because me and Brian won it in 14 when I got traded. 13 when I got traded. We won it in Daytona Beach, Florida. And then we turned around 3 years later and won the World Series. So I think it was in that between, like, since I had been through so much, my friend passing and, just, where I was drafted, I knew it had to be something to happen, something that was going to happen in my life that was going to be exciting. And you're right, the Cubs got me and we ended up in the World Series.
It's destiny. And then, CJ, you probably signed about 50, 60 pictures of you dancing around with the Cub W flag that night. And that was a little just more about the Cubs ring. That was Will, right? Yeah, because I thought that was awesome that you paid a tribute to your friend that way. I mean, the happiest moment of his life, and he's thinking about his friend. I mean, that's unbelievable.
Yeah, we do. So if y'all don't know, like my I'm gonna save it because you said he knows me pretty well.
Yeah, no pressure.
Oh, no pressure.
No, I know.
I have a question.
No, for sure.
What's my favorite country song?
Oh, chicken fries!
Cody, who has a chicken fry?
That's a Club 400 radio hat for Patty. Impressive.
And your birthday is September 3rd.
Yes.
Milwaukee.
Oh, she's getting a spot.
Don't mind me.
Chicken fried, Zach Brown.
It's funny.
Thanks, huh?
That was our song together. I remember I got in the show and he said he played that song. I said, bro, what's the song called? He told me. And like from every day on, like every time I hear that song, like I'd be on the bus, and I'd be screaming at the top of my lungs. They're like, how do you see this song? There's a lot of hits with this.
So after you won the World Series, how long did it take, and when did you really realize how many generations of fans and all that it affected in that crazy way?
Me personally, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I didn't really know about the whole Cubs history stuff. I didn't know. I was just like, I'm with the Cubs. Like, yeah, they haven't won, but a lot of teams haven't won. And as I got into the organization more and more, everybody was, 108 years not winning. And I was just like, 108 years, it's a long time. And so, I started doing my own little, I ain't gonna say my own little research, but I was just looking, just searching, soul searching, why do these people want to win the World Series? I wonder if I play with another team, would they be like, oh yeah, World Series? But then I think about it, I really realized it when we traveled. It was crazy. There's so many, it's to the point now where, we feel like every game on the road is a home game. Because it's so many things.
How was Arizona, by the way? That was crazy, wasn't it?
And not me personally, I love it, but I just think about the guys on other teams. The Cubs are at our field, but they hit a home run, it's yay! Woo. The Cubs hit a home run, it's just like an eruption. I'm like, how do you guys, how do you do it? But then again, like you said, 108 years, like they said, the lovable losers. Well, unfortunately, we're lovable winners now. And that's just coming from me and the team. We really do appreciate all the fans. I know sometimes we may not say hey when y'all say hey or look at you, but it's just we're on the field, we're just thinking about winning.
Right.
So, but yeah, that's how I feel about the whole situation.
What about the dancing in the bullpen?
Ooh.
Dancing in the bullpen.
So that
You are the best dancer in the bullpen. We know that. We're going to have a dance contest with the number one dancer before he leaves tonight. CJ versus William, because William's got moves too.
Sir William!
but not that came. I honestly don't know how that came. To be honest, I remember. What did we do? I don't even know how it happened. I just remember hitting a home run and we were just dancing.
Having fun.
Yeah, that's it. And that's it was weird, but now it's like a thing, and it's so
Musical
funny
chairs.
because So it's funny because
You were put underneath
when we go on the road, we hit a home run against the D-backs, and all the fans, instead of them looking at the home run, all of them is looking over us. Dance, you want to dance? You can't dance now. It's not the same. It's not the same as dancing outside than dancing inside of our little cubicle thing. So it's different, but I don't know how to. It just happened one day.
So I gotta ask you this question. Well, I want to tell everybody how they can find CJ on the road. Okay. Whenever CJ leaves his hotel room and goes out and comes back, he loses his hotel key. Is that true, CJ? Now, so you wait at the front. No, I am guilty of it too, CJ. Just so you know, I always lose my hotel key, and I always gotta go to the front desk and show my ID. And sometimes I don't have it, but that's how you find CJ on the road. Okay, wait up at the front desk, all right? Because she's stalking you in was it
I waited
Arizona?
all night, and that night you didn't come back. Arizona, at my note, or at the
Phoenicia?
Hyatt. No, you were at the Hyatt last year.
Oh, no, spring training,
My
yes.
husband saw
Yeah, I
you.
always,
And
never.
then the girls at the desk were like, just wait, Howard uses his key every night to look for another one.
See, we got the inside info here, CJ. You know? We do our homework over here.
You know what you were walking into?
But it's not like I don't know, I just never put it in my wallet because I feel like every time I pull it in my wallet, I can't say put it in my wallet. I feel like the magnetic from my credit cards, like I go to my room and it won't work. So I come back down and I'm just like, so I just got to the point I said, I'm just gonna put it in my pocket and half the time pull out my wallet, key falls out, whatever, you probably did, and then I just get another key.
So, I know we got to end this. We'll get Paulie in. But on your typical off day, what do you do? What do you like besides baseball? Yeah, I know you like
Fortnite!
Well, I want to let you know this, CJ. We had a basketball hoop set out outside tonight, but the mosquitoes are so bad. We didn't want you to get mosquitoes because you're gonna, get the save tomorrow against the White Sox. So we don't want you itching on the mound. So like, what's your hobbies outside of the game?
Okay, well, for one, I mean, me personally, like, it's my kids, for one, like, I have to, like, they're coming up next weekend, so I'll see them. I haven't seen them in a while, because it's been so much, this 30 game thing has just been crazy. But other than that, I was big on Fortnite, I really was. But ever since NBA 2K19 came, I'm really big on NBA 2K.
Really?
Yeah, I have my own team and all that extra. I probably spend like hundreds of dollars on my guys to make them better. So that's what I do. And then, I don't know, me, I like to go on the boat. Me, Javi, Jay, we always on the boat. So if you follow my Instagram, like, you probably see me go live and we're all on the boat at all times because it's just like our getaway. Like, we're on the boat, we don't really have to worry about people like coming at us and asking us. Like, we can just go out there, listen to music, chill out. So if you're ever on the boat in Chicago, in Lake Michigan, and you want to get food and you like seafood, I really think y'all should go to Lawrence Seafood and Shrimp, if y'all know that.
Restaurant tip.
I'm telling you, their shrimp is great. Like, we go there every time we're on the boat, it's always like, look, what we eating at? Oh, we going to Lawrence. And we get on the boat and we go, all the way through Michigan, like, we see people, but the good thing about it, they don't really know us unless they ride beside us and they look at us. Yeah. So, but yeah, that's what I like doing in my spare time is NBA 2K because I be outside so much, I just want to sit home and relax, and then on top of that, I just like to go to Lawrence.
CJ Edwards, everybody, Club 400 Radio. All right, Paulie, come on in here, buddy. Now you have the radio part. Now you have the radio part. We're good. He hit the timer, but I want to introduce you guys to a great friend, Paul Johnson, everybody. And he's awesome. Come on, a little bit louder for Paul Johnson. And we are going to take some questions in the crowd, but we'll let Paulie get started here. I'm going to grab a drink. Anybody else want one? Or way ahead of you, buddy. All right, one for CJ. All right, that includes one.
You want an apple pie?
Yes, let's go. Me and you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah!
You're gonna do what?
So we gotta say Vegas bombs.
No, this is Jaeger bombs. We're Club 400. It's different.
Jaeger bomb.
It's Club 400. It's a tradition.
Sluggers.
Right. Yeah.
Sluggers.
Yeah.
You don't need to pitch tomorrow. You can sit and drink it.
We'll be at Sluggers next Thursday. We're going to the game next Thursday. All right, so we'll see you out there. All right, so 30 days without an off day. What, 10 flights, I think it was? So 10 different flights, some of them for one day, some of them for a series.
look, you know, people will say like, oh, you know, they make all this money, who cares? You guys are humans, man. Like, so 30 days like that. How refreshing was today for you guys? 'Cause that was a rough stretch.
Yeah, it was nice. You know,
Mom's on it, man.
this off day, it came at a really great time. Because it was almost to the point where we were really looking like 33 games. If you actually do the math and the travel, we probably like more than 30 days right now of baseball. So, but yeah, we went from, how would you say, we went
Sir, you're good.
Philadelphia.
We're not on the air anymore.
You're
A
good.
little more informal, Sarah. We're good.
We went, Philadelphia, we had a team, we went Philadelphia. Well, I take that back, no, we went Atlanta, Philadelphia.
I should have quizzed you on this. You guys.
Washington,
Milwaukee first, then
Milwaukee.
Washington.
Oh, Milwaukee, yeah.
Yeah, we went,
Did you
for
drive
my
that?
birthday.
Wrigley North.
Wrigley North.
Yeah. It was like home game.
So, but I mean, it's just, yeah, we fly, but at the same time, like, it's just, I don't know, yes, of course we're tired. I'm not gonna sit here and say, no, we're never tired, but like you said, we're humans. Like, imagine flying, you know, every other day and then having to get off, and sometimes you get in at 3 in the morning. Sometimes
Like
you get
today,
in at
probably,
9. Yeah, we got in at 5 o'clock this morning, and
You got home.
I literally went home, went to sleep, and like I told, Angie and Rob, I told them, we was talking, and they goes, how is I goes, well, okay, so I got home, I actually slept on the plane a little bit, so I couldn't go right back to sleep. I went home, played NBA 2K, of course, fell asleep about 6 in the morning, and I woke up at like 1:30 or 2, and then, but I was in my room just laying in bed, and I told them, I said, they text me and said, hey, we're 10 minutes out. I said, that's perfect because 10 minutes out, I was just now getting out of bed. And I just got dressed. So, but, yes. So, but no, it's, it's just happening. It's what we have to do. We can't say no. So, we have to do that and then, go out there and still, no matter what, have to give it 110%.
The most impressive thing, I think, to me with that is when you guys went on this trip, you guys were up 2.5 games. And going into tomorrow, you're up 2.5 games. So, you guys went 18 and 11 on this stretch. I don't know how you guys did it, but, how much pride do you guys take in the fact that you were able to weather this? Because I think a lot of people would have been like, all right, if they go 500, we're cool with that. It's been a rough stretch. But you guys went way above and beyond.
It's the thing is, though, it's like, if you look at the schedule, pretty much, like, it's kind of like I was telling Angie and Rob today, I was like, I understand, yes, we want to do this, we want to do that. But at the same time, we actually have, it's on our side, it's kind of bad at the moment because everybody that the Brewers are playing to the Cardinals are in the division. And we're playing people outside the division. So when we was in Arizona, it was nice. Honestly, it was nice to see okay, the Brewers lost or the Cardinals lost. Both teams lost. And no, we don't want to lose. But if we do lose that game, it's fine because everything stays the same. But now, we're playing the White Sox. I feel to myself, these games right here with the Pirates coming in to play the Brewers and stuff, honestly, we probably rooting for the Pirates just in case, say they win and we lose, it stays the same. We don't have to worry too much. So as of now, yes, we want to win these next 4 games against the White Sox. We want to win the series.
Oh, we want you to win that too.
Yeah, we got. So
We need to call a quick timeout. We have a mother-son moment here.
Come on, Mom.
Who am I to interrupt family time?
Yeah, you Mom. But yeah, so
That'll work.
it's just like I say, it's honestly just it's just a game, man. And it's funny how everybody talk about how Javi plays. And Javi plays the game like a little kid in the backyard. So with this stretch coming up, we just know for a fact that we, yes, we have we want to win, But we also know that we know the Reds are a really good team and the Pirates are a really good team. And as you guys can see, those guys are actually coming up now. So they'll be, I feel like next year we'll 9 times out of 10 we'll probably go back to it's gonna be a 3-4 game, 3-4 mix, 3-4 team mix. So, but other than that, it hurts, but at the same time, like we said just a week ago, a lot of guys, we win a division, it was well worth it.
Right.
Because of the adversity that we had to go through.
Right. Well, and you guys have been through so much the last 3 years, so that's gotta help too, right? I mean, like you guys have played deep into the season and big games. So I mean, some of these other teams coming up, they might not be in these positions, right? So you aren't phased by anything. Like you've seen just about everything the last 3 years, right?
We have.
That's big. That's big.
Everybody's out to get us now. That's not what it is.
It's fun being a Cubs fan where they're actually out to get us for a change. I think I can speak for the whhole room with that. We haven't had that our whole life, man. Well, we're gonna open it up to some questions. I don't know if we got another mic around here, or if somebody wants to. I know. Well, I know you're gonna raise your hand. You had like 8 of them earlier. So. Crowley's up first.
Carl, 108 years, and Chapman gets those 3 outs in the bottom of the 9th. Rain comes, you guys come in from the bullpen. Jason Hayward says meeting in the clubhouse. All of us in here would love to have you walk us through that moment as to what exactly happened.
Okay, I will not. I'm not gonna actually tell you what was said, but I will tell you some things. Okay, because we said in that meeting, what happens in this room stays in this room. But outside looking in, basically we just, Jason Hayward called us a meeting, and it was, to me personally, I was like shocked. Like I was walking up, and they was like, it's like, hey, come in here, and we go in. I walk in. I'm a rookie, so I'm like, oh, listen, like what we got? Like I'm nervous. I already know I'm going in again. They don't know it. The team don't know who's coming in the game. And so he was talking like, hey guys, we've been in this situation before. I mean, if you look back on 16 year, I think we led the lead and comeback wins. Yes. So Hayward, he said his speech, and the thing he goes, hey, so who we got pitching? And I'm like in a corner over there, like at 400, and I'm like, I'm going in, guys. So, but no, that's what happened, and I remember, man, I remember all the guys just, we was just talking. And I remember, that's why I said, when I say I love these guys, these guys are the one that makes me, take that next step in this game. And it's because when I went into that game, Javi still does it today, him and Addison, he always says it. He goes, bro, nobody can hit you. Let's go. Just, you don't have to force it down the middle. It's hard because I have a natural cut. He's like, just be aggressive. Let's go right at him. And I looked at him like, all right, bro, I got you. We're young. This is our first time, this is basically our first year in the big leagues, and we're in the World Series. Whoever thought you'd be in the World Series at the age of, we was, 23? So, but yeah, that's what happened. That whole meeting basically was, guys, we have it. And who else would not want to have Benny Zopro Zorbis in our dugout? That's his name, Benny Zo, because he's so calm in pressure situations. The base hit he got, everybody's like, come on, Zo, come on, Zo. In the back of my head, I'm like, all right, a mistake, we're gonna win this game. And boom, base hit, we scored 1. And out of all, I love Miggy, and he told me that he had been ready for this moment day 1. And he comes up and get a base hit and a shift. You notice Miggy never hits the ball to the left field. But that day he hits the ball right past the shortstop to score the second run. And when that happened, dude, you understand the lift off on me. But just the lift that he gave this whole state of Chicago, this whole north side area, don't understand that whole situation. Yeah, we was there, you guys looking in just as nervous, but we're out there 0-0. Let's score. What else? And then but what I think people don't really realize is that play by Albert Almora what really set it up.
100%.
Ball hit to right field. He's on first base, and he tagged up and beat it. And right there, it was okay, so right then and there, we know a double play won't get us out the inning. And we end up scratching a couple more hits. Boom, boom, boom. We're up 2, and we win. And go back to the meeting. That's what we talked about. Just being aggressive and just playing Cubs baseball.
Yeah, absolutely. Funny you brought up Albert's play. I was with my girlfriend. We were at a bar, right? And he does that, and there's a couple light claps, and I'm standing up, do you realize how important that play was? I'm everybody started clapping. So, all right.
Yeah. All right, Danny from Crystal Lake. Simple question, simple answer.
First time caller. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, first time caller. But the start of this 2018 year, everyone, I think, including me, want to know what is the base runners? Why do they do the two-hand? What does that mean?
So
Stop cheering for me, or
no. It's you're right. We're waving, but it's more if I was to say, "Hey, bro, nice shirt." Whatever. That's basically what it is. It's whatever. Don't cheer for me now. You want, but it's just something that we do to stay loose. But this Zorbis does something different. And then if you notice, Zorbis does something. If you're at the Cubs game and you're in the bleachers and Zorbis in right field, he does his. And my thing is when he does that, I want to do it too. So if he's in left field and we're in there, he don't see me, but he letting everybody know how many outs it is. So I'm in there yeah, okay. So if you guys are ever in the stands and it's that moment we get an out or 2 outs or whatever, just know Zorbis goes 1 out, he goes here, he points, he throws it, 1 out, guys, it's 1 out, and then when it's 2 outs, I'm telling you, if the fans do that in right field, I'm telling you, it will bring him. He might jump out of the stadium because he does it so much. He just constantly, hey, 2 out. But it's just, there's just something for him to do to interact with the crowd while the game is going on.
That's awesome.
So that's, it's a lot of things that we do, like the stroke. His whole thing, everybody get on about his hat to the left, but he's not doing that to look like a thug, a gangster, or whatever. It's just, he's about flow. We had a big stroke day. It's flow, it's swag. Look good, play good. So he puts his hat to the left, but it's no disrespect to anybody. And when he gets somebody out, he does this, and he turns around and he does that. It's not to make people mad. It's interacting. So when he get a big out, he does that. When I get a big out, I does the Tiger Woods fist bump. It's not like I'm not planning myself to go strike out. Yeah. It's not that at all. It's just at the moment, and sometimes I'll do it and I'll just stand here and I'll just scream. If I feel like that pitch is good and I know it's a strike, then I'll throw it and I'll tense up and I'll scream. That's just the emotions of the game. It doesn't mean nothing else behind it. It's just that's how excited we are. But we can't be out there, you know, got you out dancing and stuff. You know, so we have to just do something like, yeah, like I said, I do. My thing is the Tiger Woods fist bump, like straight through, and I'm like, you're like, you guys watch Tiger Woods. When he's doing good and he hit that one good birdie or that eagle, he does that fist bump. How people go? They go crazy. I mean, I don't think people go crazy when I get the strikeout. We do.
I'm glad
But
you
yeah,
brought up
that's why.
baseball.
Yeah, that's how. We have so many antics. You'll be surprised at how many things you see. Like, El Mago. Yeah, it means magician, but it's not like, oh, he's magic. No, it's just how did El Mago? How did it took off? Now you got people understand with magic hats and wands and stuff, you know. Like, it's just something that we do to get the fans more involved, where they feel like, you know, they're on the field with us. That's how we was brought up. Because we feel like the more energy we get from the fans, the better we play, the more adrenaline we get.
Absolutely. All right, we got another one over here.
Awesome. So CJ, I actually have a friend here, Josh, who wants
My man,
to
Josh.
do a question, and then I have a question after that. But we'll let Josh go.
What we got,
first.
brother?
What kind of player did you make on 2K?
What kind of player did I make on 2K?
Yeah.
He's looking for tips, man.
But I have 3 players. So I have a 6'5" pure playmaker, point guard. I have a 6'1" pure sharpshooter, and then I have a lockdown shot creating small forward 6'10". So I basically make my guys off of, like, if you think about, like, Steph Curry is a sharpshooter, but if you think about playmaking, I don't know if you remember this guy. We call him White Chocolate. If you know
Jason Williams.
Yes. So I made him after him, and then the last guy I made, the small forward guy, was more of like a Trevor Ariza type guy. Plays defense, he makes good shots, and that's just the guys I made.
I think Josh wants to play you, actually.
Yeah, Xbox or PlayStation?
PlayStation.
Ooh, PlayStation. What's your name on there?
Josh 9 to 11.
Josh 9 to 11.
Yeah.
You know what mine is?
What?
CJ Edwards 7.
Let's go. Let's go.
I see a showdown coming.
I play. Matter of fact, when I leave here, I'm going to play.
Tonight.
Yeah, I'm good.
Cool. So CJ, I have a quick question. So I worked in sports before I went into business and sales and all that. I've been to a lot of stadiums, Milwaukee County Stadium, Miller Park, Camden Yards, a bunch of them. So I want to talk a little bit about Wrigley Field. I know you probably, growing up in South Carolina, you probably never had been to Wrigley Field prior to coming to the Cubs. So if you can tell me a little bit about like what you enjoy, and I know you didn't see it back when it was really without the scoreboards and the craziness and all of that it is today, but if you can tell me a little bit about what you feel is great about Wrigley Field. Because Stu kind of makes this place Wrigley Field outside of being at Wrigley.
So, me personally, I think, like, it's funny because when I first got there in 15, we was walking right through the concourse, walking out, this and that, whatever, third. Now it's like a really comfortable kids amusement park. So I say that because we have so much. We went from the batting cages being in right field or whatever to now or left field, wherever it was at. And then during the game, this is what I don't think people understand. You have pinch hitters, right?
Yeah.
So
Ray and Tommy.
Before 16, we had like you would have to. They had a net. There was no BP. It was all toss work. So you really wasn't seeing. Baseball is strong. You had to just worry about tossing. So now you have. It's amazing. Like me personally, like if they ever just say, hey, we'll have a day. Take the people, take the fans. You have the tour. So if they ever have a tour, I think they should have a tour like 9 o'clock in the morning before we get there on the night game, and just let it's like night and day how much it has switched. And it's funny just hearing like all the guys that come over. All the guys now come over, it's like, man, I love this. Like we got guys now in the tents like. They just love it. They love it because it's spacey, it's homey. It's like you don't have to be like like right beside each other every day. Like the old clubhouse is like, oh, I know what you wore today.
Right.
But you wore the same drawers yesterday.
Reading your text over the shoulder, like, why are you talking to her like that, man?
But I mean it's nice, man. I actually love it. I mean when I first got there, Wrigley Field though, it's the last two between them and the Red Sox right now. Like that was basically the last two legendary stadiums. Yep. And to actually play there every day from like Ernie Banks, Sandberg, Dawson, like all those guys, Sammy Sosa, Aramis Ramirez, Jose Canseco, like, all those guys. Like it's now like you're playing with them. Like you're playing on the same field they played on. You're not playing on some new field that they just recently built. So I think that's what made Wrigley Field so good, so memorable.
And we hope you're here for your entire career.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, absolutely. Stu, what do you want to do another one, or what are you thinking there?
Two more questions?
2 more. All right. Stu's the boss. I had to check.
CJ's gotta be
Good. I'm almost out of beer anyway.
Hey, who's got a question here?
I got two questions. Toughest hitter in the National League, you think? And do you like the bullpens indoors under the bleachers or outside?
For dancing.
Oh man, the toughest guy in the National League. I think everybody's tough. Well, for me personally, because I'm always in there when it's the 2, 3, 4 hitters, or the 3, 4, 5, like the home run hitters, or the order. I think if you're in that part, I feel like 1 through 9. So you come up and the lower levels is, the first, second, third hitter are your best hitters. The higher you get, the line gets longer, good hitters. You get here and it's all 9, no matter what. And so if I had to pick the National League toughest hitter for me to face, probably Joey Votto. Just because he's so smart. But now the other guy is on my team. You know what that is, right? You guys know?
There's a few choices, my friend.
Now he's on my team now. He wasn't. He just got on my team this year.
Oh, Mr. Murphy?
Yes. But he was oh my God. I can talk about him all day about how tough he was as a hitter. Because he's so smart. Just listen to him and Zorbis talk about hitting. I just walk away. So, but yeah, Murphy and I say Votto.
You don't have to face him anymore. That's good.
So, and what was the other question?
Having the bullpen underneath the bleachers.
I like it, but the old boy. I used to like the old. I like both. Now it's more of like we're comfortable. Like no matter if it's hot or cold, we're comfortable. At first, it was more of if it's cold. Yeah, you're cold. We have a little heater. We had like little heaters, like right at our foot, like this, like man, I hope we can't get over. But now you have it, but at the same time, it's never like whatever the temperature is outside, it's gonna be there in the bullpen now because we learned early the first year that it was early in the year, it was cold, we had the heat on, and like I would run out, and it was like shocking me. I was like, oh God, it's too cold. And now, you know, we made an adjustment. So, I mean, both is really good. It doesn't matter.
All right, Carl Edwards Jr., everybody, come on, give it up. I know Steve's got one to talk
Yeah, one more question now. Okay. Hey, obviously I know how you came up with the name String Big Slinger. Are you mad that I'm actually wearing your shirt? Because I'm far from a String Big Slinger. How'd you get that
We've never
nickname?
been.
Did you give? How'd you get that one? Something.
Spokane.
Oh, really? Spokane, huh?
I remember after my first outing there, the guy comes up, he goes, hey, we have this, we have this thing going on and we want to put up something, you know, like that people would think about you. And the guy was like, hey man, how about we call you the Streaming Slinger? I looked at him, I was like, Streaming Slinger. And I was like, you know what? Yes, let's do that. Streaming Slinger, I go with it. And that's how I got the name.
That's awesome. Let's give it up for TJ Edwards, everybody. Top 400, this guy rocked it tonight.